Hello, happy people, and welcome to your Moment of Zed, the YouTube channel dedicated to the most beautiful car in the world, the BMW Z3, or as the folks in Wickham call it, the Z3. I'm Mark, and in my last video, I showed you how I more than likely had a leak from the oil filter housing gasket. That turned out to be the case. I fixed it, and that's what today's video is all about. But before we get to that, we have our Zed of the Week. And today we have Kieran and Ronan, brothers from County Tipperary, Ireland, with their 1997 1.9-liter 5-speed Roadster, completely stock, they say, which they bought in May. Now they've put on new pads and discs, done a full interior detail, and a paint restoration. And their plan is to spend next summer touring around Ireland and going to various car shows. Sounds like a solid plan, one of my favorite places in the world. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful car. If you'd like to see your car on Zed of the Week, please follow the easy instructions in the description below. By the way, I'm kind of backed up on Zeds of the Week, and I think probably the last video I'm going to do before the holidays, and probably the only other video I'll do in December as I start to take it easy a little bit for the holidays, will be a viewer's car special. So if you've sent in a Zed of the Week and you're still waiting on it, you will probably see it in the next couple of weeks before the Christmas holiday. By the way, I hope you all have a great holiday season. On the odd chance I don't get that video out, but I'm sure that I will. By the way, if you're feeling generous for the holidays and you like what you see here on Moment of Zed, please feel free to buy me a coffee using the QR code here or the link in the description. It is always appreciated. Thank you so much. Now, let's get on with that repair. Okay, so here's the parts we're going to be using. The first is the actual engine oil filter housing gasket, and you can see the part number there. This is OEM. Can't remember the price on any of these. None of it was very expensive. I'll put a link in the description. I got them from FCP Euro. They were cheaper on ECS tuning, but FCP Euro's shipping time was much quicker, and so that's why I got them from there. The other part you're going to need is this engine oil pump bushing. I don't really know why it's called a bushing. It's more of a check valve, really. But anyways, there's the part number. That I also bought OEM. Again, none of this was very expensive. I think this was $20, something like that. And then I bought two non-OEM O-rings. They're actually the same O-rings that are already on here. But just in case I crimped them or something or screwed it up, these were like $1 each, non-OEM, and I just bought a couple extra just to have. So you don't really need much in parts. I think the total on this was, maybe $30, something like that. So not very expensive. Okay, just for time's sake, I have gotten pretty much everything out of the way. I've gotten this car to the point where it was during my summer project. So if you want to see how to get everything off, and what I've taken off is the airbox, the shroud for the fan itself, and the belt also is loose, although it's kind of still in place, and the power steering cup is disconnected from its bracket, which is right there. So that's the point I'm at. And again, if you want to see how I got to all this in painful detail, there's a link in the description to my summer series of videos where I got it to this point, which, again, I would say if I were you, I would do this. If you're going to do that cooling system job I did over the summer, and your water pump and everything, and your belts, I would do this job too, because right here, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but that is the mating surface of this. And there's your oil filter cap. This is your oil filter housing, and that is what's leaking, what better be leaking, because this is going to be a pain. Next, I've got to show you how to get out the alternator, which is here, and then the bracket that holds the alternator, the belt tensioner, and the power steering pump. See, if I had done this summer, this hose would have been out of my way because this is a new hose. And it would have been a lot easier without this hose in my way. Now I could still remove this hose, but that means I've got to drain the radiator, etc., etc. Now, another job you could do while you're in here, and I wish I would have this summer because I actually bought this part. Once I get that alternator out of the way, this bottom hose between the radiator and back here somewhere, where am I? There I am. Would have been doable too, I think, once the alternator's out of the way. I still may do it today. I don't know. This hose is in pretty good shape, so we'll see. Time-wise, I don't have as much time as I wish I had, but anyways, if you're going to do all the stuff I did this summer, to make a long story short, too late, this is when you should do this job as well with the oil filter housing gasket. Okay, so we're removing the alternator. Again, not having this hose would have made it much easier for filming too. There's two 16 millimeter bolts. There's one, and then diagonally down, there's the other. Again, 16 millimeter long bolts, and we should be able to, I'll pull those out. I've loosened them up already, and we'll move the alternator so we can disconnect it from the electrical system. By the way, those alternator bolts are identical, so if you mix them up, not the end of the world. Now, as far as getting the actual alternator to move, there's my alternator, and you can kind of see it's now off the bracket. That hole there lined up with this hole here, but I stuck this wrench in that space and pried it away from the bracket. So if you have a pry bar, that would probably work even better, but I just had this big wrench. So now I'm going to try and maneuver it so we can get to the electrical connections. This may be hard to film, so I'll do the best I can. So now you can see the alternator is cockeyed, and I'll tell you, in the last scene, I had it moved away from the top part of the bracket, but the bottom part of the bracket, which you can't see here, was really tough. So I wiggled it and I wiggled it, and I was trying to go down, but there's really no room to go down. So eventually I kind of straddled the car, and I put one hand over here on the pulley itself, and then I took my other hand and put it on the back side of the alternator. Again, this is going to be very hard to film, but there is the back side of the alternator. And I also, even though it moved itself back already, there's a rubber boot that doesn't want to stay. There we go. There's a rubber boot that hides the two leads for the alternator itself. Hard to see, but there they are. So we're going to disconnect those and then pull the alternator out of the front of the car. Okay, so the alternator is out, and once I disconnected the two wires, it was just a matter of pulling the alternator out through the front. Now, this is a 13 millimeter nut and a 10 millimeter nut. Blue to the small one, red to the big one. They're different gauge wires, hard to screw up. Red on top, blue on the bottom. Another way you could remember it. Okay, so the next step is going to be taking off the bolts that hold this bracket. Now that bracket includes your tensioner, which I left in, and it also includes your power steering pump. That power steering pump has a hard line coming off of it here, but that goes to a hose. So this thing's movable. Now, to get this bracket off, there's one 13 millimeter bolt, and it's kind of hard to see, but in the back there's another one, and then going up from there, there's a third 13 millimeter bolt. Now what that will allow you to do is this whole apparatus will now be able to swivel with this 13 millimeter bolt anchoring the bottom. But what that makes it hard to do is it makes it hard to get the bottom bolts for the actual project we're doing, which is the oil filter housing. So what others have suggested is pull this bolt also and then kind of gently move this whole thing out of the way. But again, you got to be careful because you've got lines going into that power steering pump. So I'm going to try and take all these bolts off and then kind of hang this from the upper bracket somewhere and move it over out of the way. So it's going to be impossible to film, but I'll show you when it's done. Okay, kind of embarrassing, but I forgot one. It's another 13 right there in dead center. It's kind of hidden in that that recess, but that's the, well, if you count the one on the bottom, that's the fifth 13 millimeter you're going to have to remove, and this thing's nice and loose now. I've loosened them all up, so it's able to move, and then I'm just going to figure out a way to hang it and get it out of our way. Okay, so this is how I used a bungee to hang this from the bracket for the air box, and it looks a little awkward, but actually it's not really pinching anywhere or doesn't look like I'm hurting any of the lines, so I think we should be okay with that. And again, just kind of double checking, but I think we're okay. And now we have excellent access to the bottom of the oil filter housing gasket, so we're going to get to work on this right now. Okay, finally time to remove the actual oil filter housing itself. Now there are 6 bolts. You're looking at, in the corner, there's 4 short ones there, and then there's 2 up top, only one of which you can see here. They're all 10 millimeters. I've broken all mine loose. Now, just so you know, I did not drain my oil. I am expecting some oil to leak out, but again, this is only full of oil when it's under pressure, so obviously it's not. I do expect some leakage, so I have the oil pan down underneath it, and then of course some stuff for protect the cement, but I do expect to lose some, so we'll find out. I won't be able to film it while I do it, but I'll show you when I'm done. Also, last thing to do for removal before I forget again, in the back, of course, where else would it be, is the connection to the oil pressure sensor, and that needs to be removed before you pull it out. All right, so make sure you do that. So I lost a couple ounces of oil when it released, and you can see the old, what they call the bushing up top, that stayed in the block. That's got the 2 O-rings on it, one on the block side, one on the filter housing side. And then you can see the old gasket is right there. I just kind of broke a piece of it away. Doesn't really look like it's in that bad a shape, but with all the oil that was, of course, there's more oil underneath it now since some drained out, but there was oil here before, so there's definitely a leak. Now, it's not uncommon for these O-rings to be bad. I'll take a look at those, and I'm going to clean this up. Over here is the oil filter housing itself. Again, that's the hole where that, again, thing they call the bushing, which sure looks like some kind of pressure relief, goes in. And then I've already cleaned up this mating surface for the gasket. It's nice and smooth and good to go. So we're almost done. So I'll tell you, after pulling that bushing, as they call it, I don't really think there's anything wrong with it, except the O-rings are completely flat and they're hard as a rock. They aren't crumbling yet, but they are flat and hard. And maybe this is the source of my leak. And for me, I'd just rather replace this whole thing. There's no reason for the price, which was I don't know, 18 bucks or something like that to put the old one in. But I'm going to hang on to this because I do have 2 new O-rings for it if I ever need it. So I'll just keep it. Okay, so there's the new gasket in place, and the new bushing, as again it's called. I don't know why. The only thing I got to say that I did is to hold that gasket in place, because it's excuse me, almost vertical, is a 3-4 little tiny little dabs of red high temperature grease. Pulled that off the internet, hope it works, just to hold it there, not to slather it, but just to hold it there while we put the housing back on. And then the O-ring, one O-ring on that bushing fits inside the block. I gave that a super light coat of new motor oil to help that slide in, and then a super light coat on the O-ring that goes to the housing, a super light coat of fresh motor oil to move that along. So I'm going to go ahead and put the housing on and get the bolts in. I won't be able to film it, but it's just, putting it back the way it came out. Okay, so it's getting late and I'm losing my light. But you can see the bolts are in, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a crisscross pattern, starting with this easy to reach bolt, then going into that corner, then over to this corner, and then back up to the top, then the 2 middle bolts. And I'm just going to kind of like you tighten up lug nuts in a star pattern. I'm going to go in a crisscross pattern, try and keep the gasket compressing evenly, and I'm going to torque it to 16 foot-pounds. That is a recommendation. It's the best recommendation I can find. Although I feel that 16 is going to be too much. I may go a little less because, again, you're bolting into, steel bolts into aluminum. So I may go a smidge less, but 16 is the recommendation I'm getting from my research. 16 foot-pounds. After that, I hate to be this guy, but, do the reverse to put it all back together. Next will be the bracket, then the alternator, and then all the stuff I, took off before I started the video. So that's going to be it, and I'll let you know if it works. So folks, there you have it. No more leak until the next thing leaks. Anyways, like I said in the video, if I were you, if I were doing like the cooling system refresh that I did over the summer, I would go ahead and just knock this out, even if yours is not leaking, just because eventually it probably will. And while you're that deep into the front of the engine, you might as well just get that, because it's just a matter of a few more bolts to get access to what we just did. By the way, if you're doing the job on the M44, the 1.9 liter engine, and you're not filming it like I did, probably to get all the stuff off, get it replaced, and put it all back together, you're probably talking about a 4-hour job, give or take, assuming you don't break anything, you don't have any stuck bolts. It's really about a half day's job, just for reference, so you know, and it's really not that difficult to do. So there you have it. If you found this content valuable, as always, please crush that like button. And until next time, remember, friends don't let friends drive boring.